COVID-19 resurfaces in India. Rising cases, new variants, and what you must do. India is once again in the grip of a rising wave of COVID-19 cases. This resurgence is not only driven by new viral subvariants but also by growing public complacency, relaxed protocols, and an underestimation of how quickly the virus can adapt. According to the latest update from the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, as of 8 a.m. IST, May 31st, 2025, the number of active COVID-19 cases in the country has surged to 2,710. Let's begin with a look at where this rise is more apparent. Kerala has recorded the sharpest increase with 227 fresh infections logged in the last 24 hours alone. Its active caseload now stands at 1,147, which is nearly half of the country's total active cases. This trend has concerned experts who point to Kerala's dense urban settlements and high levels of inter-district mobility as contributing factors. Maharashtra, a state that bore the brunt of earlier waves, is again seeing steady daily additions. The state logged 84 new cases, pushing its total cases reported this year to 681 and current active count to 467. In the national capital Delhi, the situation is being monitored closely. 56 new infections were reported, and more worryingly, the first COVID-related death this season has been confirmed. A 60-year-old woman, marking a grim reminder that virus remains a serious health threat, particularly to vulnerable populations. West Bengal reported 59 new cases, raising its active case tally to 116. Experts warn that smaller but consistent spikes like these across multiple states could point to community-level transmission. And these are only the confirmed cases. The real number of infections could be higher considering asymptomatic spread, mild cases going unreported, and a general drop in testing rates in recent months. Now let us understand the new variants. What is causing this rise? The virus is evolving. At the heart of this resurgence are three subvariants: JN1, NB1.8.1 and LF7. JN1 remains the most dominant strain across India, responsible for more than 53% of current positive cases. The NB1.8.1 subvariant was detected in Tamil Nadu in April. LF7 has already shown up in at least 4 confirmed cases in Gujarat earlier this May. These subvariants are genetically distinct from the original strain and from previous waves. The World Health Organization has listed NB1.8.1 and LF7 as variants under monitoring, meaning they are not yet designated as variants of concern. But global and Indian health agencies are watching them closely. What sets these new variants apart is not just their mutational structure, but also their behavior in the population, including potential for immune escape, higher transmissibility, and symptomatic differences. Now let us bring to you the changing symptoms and why they matter. One of the most striking shifts with the JN1 wave is a change in symptom profile. Traditional symptoms like fever, sore throat, cough, fatigue remain prevalent. But what's being observed more frequently now are digestive symptoms, a pattern less common in earlier waves. This include nausea, loss of appetite, stomach discomfort, loose motions or diarrhea. In many patients, especially younger adults and office goers, these symptoms are mild and easily confused with food poisoning or seasonal changes. As a result, cases go undetected and transmission continues unchecked. Doctors also report an increase in persistent low-grade fever, body aches, and prolonged fatigue, signs that the virus, though milder in appearance for some, is still affecting the system significantly. Now let us tell you what you should do right now. Health authorities, including the Ministry of Health, INSACOG, and independent virologists are urging the public to return to essential precautions. The virus may be weaker in some respects, but our daily habits remain our strongest shield. Here's what you need to do. Number 1, stay up to date with vaccination. Your first line of defense remains your vaccine. If you haven't taken your booster dose, check your eligibility. Those above 60 years, people with diabetes, asthma, or chronic illnesses, and anyone with low immunity should speak to their healthcare provider immediately. The vaccine may not prevent infection completely, but it significantly reduces severity, hospitalization, and death. Number 2, wear a mask where it matters. Masking is not about fear, it's about responsibility. Use a well-fitting N95 mask when traveling in office lifts, conference rooms, crowded metros, or any closed or poorly ventilated environment. If using a reusable mask, wash it daily. Avoid touching the front of the mask while removing it. Number 3, maintain social distance in crowds. The virus spreads faster in close contact settings. Maintain a safe distance of at least 1 meter wherever possible. Avoid peak hour travel, crowded cafeterias, and closed group meetings without ventilation. Number 4, don't let go of hand hygiene. Keep your hands clean. Wash with soap for 20 seconds as often as possible. Use alcohol-based hand sanitizer in transit, after touching public surfaces, and before meals. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Number 5, respect cough-sneeze etiquette. Cough into your elbow, not on your hand. Use tissues and dispose of them immediately. Always wash hands afterwards. Number 6, disinfect shared office surfaces. Office goers should clean keyboards, mouse, and desktops, phone screens, meeting tablets. Do this at the start and end of the day, especially in co-working spaces. Number 7, strengthen your immunity naturally. Even the best external precautions must be backed by strong internal immunity. Eat foods rich in vitamin C, D, zinc, and antioxidants. Stay hydrated and well rested. Practice daily exercise and breathing techniques to improve lung function and energy. Number 8, monitor symptoms and act quickly. If you experience mild fever, cough, gastrointestinal upset, throat pain, sudden fatigue, don't ignore it. Isolate immediately. Test and consult your doctor. Follow a minimum of 10 days isolation with at least 3 symptom-free days before rejoining normal activities. India has done incredibly well to emerge from the worst phases of the pandemic, but the virus has not gone away. It has merely changed form, and the price of letting our guard down could be high. This is not a time for panic, but it is a time for responsibility. If you're commuting daily, working in offices, using shared spaces, or taking public transport, remember, you are part of the transmission chain. What you do affects not just you, but your colleagues, your parents, your children, and your community. So, mask up, stay vaccinated, watch for symptoms, respect hygiene, stay informed. COVID-19 may not be dominating headlines anymore, but it still has the power to disrupt lives. With new variants like NB1.8.1 and LF7 in circulation and case numbers rising in states like Kerala, Delhi, and Maharashtra, the best thing we can do is act now. Let's not wait for another wave to wake us up. Stay cautious, stay committed, stay safe. And for more such stories, subscribe to the Free Press Journal.